All right, I can tell from the season and the comments that you guys are interested in some coho tips. So I'm going to do my very best to give you some tips on actually how to catch coho salmon from a kayak, especially in Puget Sound. So I'm hoping that I can get some helpful advice to you that'll help you actually catch fish. I'd rate myself like a 6 or 7 at this. I'm likely to catch a fish today, but I'm probably not like the top coho fisherman out there. If you're interested in my resume, please check out my fishing videos for coho salmon, especially the Edmonds Coho Derby. I think it's called Haphazard Halibut Attempt with 2 coho or something like that. I got a few coho salmon fishing videos from actually last year. But today I'm going to be fishing. This is my absolute first attempt at coho, so I'm going in blind. I've done no research on what's been working so far this year, and I'm essentially just going to like feel out the water and do what I can to sort of like figure out where they are and what they're biting on today. So no research. I'm going in blind. I'm hoping to show you like what works and what doesn't work, because I'm probably going to do some stuff that doesn't work today. And I just kind of want to give you the full story on what it takes to actually catch coho. So let's go through the rig. So I have a rod holder here. I've installed that with a, I think it's called L-track. Essentially just drill 2 holes through the kayak, use a big washer on the bottom. Washer has to be saltwater grade, so I actually use zinc for that. I put a little tiny strip of actually L-track here. Oh, these are H-rails, sorry about that. Little tiny strip of L-track here, and that's just enough to hold the fish finder in place. Fish finder battery is actually here, and then I run the cables through the little hole here. I have the downrigger basically installed here. So again, just drill, I think it's 4 holes in the side of the kayak, and then you can basically install the downrigger there. I use a Scotty Lake troller. This is actually the same one I've always used, and it's actually broken, so I don't know if you can see that, but it just kind of moves freely. It's not supposed to do that, but it is broken, and that's kind of what I'm stuck with. I have another one, I just haven't upgraded it yet and stuff, so it works fine. This can manage a 4-pound ball, so that's what this is. So this is a 4-pound, Canon ball. I like the ones that are a little bit more streamlined like that. They tend to drag less in the water. I upgrade to a full boat strength clip, and then I use 200 feet of braid instead of 100 feet of metal cable. So next thing, good idea to use some kind of scent. When I'm using scents, I actually use I think it's herring anise scent for blackmouth or king salmon, and then I use straight fish scent. So today I'm using anchovy. I usually use anchovy or herring scents, and then essentially what I do with it is this. So just put a whole bunch like right in the hoochie itself. So you can see that's pretty blue. That's all the kind of scent in there. And then this is a bit contentious, but I do it. I also add some to the flasher board, so just like that. And the reason people don't add it to the flasher board is that it'll actually dull the flasher board over time. But I've found that you can sort of avoid that by washing it off with basically dish soap every time you come back to your house. Just basically when you get home, just wash it off with this dish soap. That works pretty well. So let's actually get clipped in. So this is how I deploy the rig. And this is also the point of having that mono tied to the braid using a uni-to-uni knot. Once I get to the uni-to-uni knot, I'm in a pretty good place to clip in. So there we go. I can see the uni-to-uni knot there. And I'm definitely going to clip into mono, not braid. If I clipped into the braid, it would pop off really easily, and I don't want that. So this is what you want, basically. I let out 50 feet of line as a guess. So that's actually the biggest mistake that I see people make when they're dropping down the gear. They'll actually introduce slack in the line. So your rod should actually always stay back when you're dropping down the gear. If you're allowing slack to develop, you'll actually never regain it. Yeah, so pretty much what's going to happen is you'll have a bend in the line. It'll stay there. Even if you reel up, you're probably just going to end up like popping out of the clip. Now, in terms of depth and safety, there's really not much of a reason to fish more than like a mile offshore. I would say even a mile is sort of pushing it for coho. You don't really need to do that. Today I'm probably going to be varying between like a 1/4 mile and 3/4 mile. And all I'm really looking for is seaweed. So any aggregation of seaweed. Seaweed indicates a pocket of basically slack water, and the slack water will mean that there's kind of lazy fish hanging out there. If you want to get out of the current, you go to a place with slack water. Debris on the surface sort of indicates that slack water, right? Another hot area is any confluence. So I'm hoping to come across a confluence today just so I can show you what that looks like, but essentially it's the meeting of two different types of current. Another common place is actually points, so any point that you see. So I'm going to be checking out Meadow Point and probably West Point today. Just kind of depends on which way the current's taking me, what I feel like. Yeah, let's see what else. Always look for jumping fish. So last year I'd pretty much see a jumping fish and then make a beeline for it and then be on. It was like 80% probably. If I see a jumping fish, I'm gonna have a hit. And then finally birds. So I'm keeping my eye out for birds. Birds indicate basically a bait ball. And you might think, oh, birds, you know, they pick up the surface, that's it. The birds actually dive down pretty deep for bait. So if there are birds around, that might actually mean that there's Chinook around. Because some birds can dive like 600 feet underwater. I've actually filmed them underwater. So this is a trip that I did when I was fishing for ghost shark. Essentially, here I'm dropping down a shrimp imitation. There's just birds everywhere. Just kind of playing with it. Oh, okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Fish and Wildlife, when you're done fishing, are you going back to the ramp or the beach?
Ramp.
Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, that's it? Okay, yeah, have a good day.
Okay.
Yep. So I have been stopped several times by Department of Wildlife. They're always very polite and very friendly. Just make sure you have your stuff together. Know the rules before you go, obviously. Always check the app before you leave. So today I was really careful to check that salmon fishing was in fact open. In fact, I'm planning on dropping down for lings, maybe even halibut a little bit later too. That's also open. But make sure, you know, you have your life jacket on, for one thing. Whistle, they check for. They might check your license, they might check your catch card, and always make sure that your barbs are pinched back. So I've gotten through the screening. Well, I mean, I'm pretty careful about the rules, so I've gotten through it every single time. But out of the 5 or 6 times that I've been stopped, that's what they check for, and it's always gone very smoothly. So obviously, you know, appreciate those guys keeping the fish populations healthy. So this is actually part of the reason that I like this rig a lot. What I'm doing is just keeping a finger on the line, kind of lightly, and I'm keeping an eye out for any signs of life. And I'm actually seeing small fish jumping out of the water this way. So I'm seeing probably herring, anchovy, something like that, jumping out of the water this way. And I actually just felt a thump on the line, so I think I actually just hit a bait fish. I think that's what I just felt. So with the finger on the line, I can tell if I've hooked like half an ounce of seaweed or even a shaker or anything like that. And that's why I actually like this rig a lot. It introduces a pretty extreme angle on the line, on the rod I mean. So you can see this is really, really bent over. And because of that, it's a little bit harder on the rods. I've actually broken a few doing this, especially with a Chinook biting. It's a massive strain on the rod. The one thing to be cautious of is that if you get your finger too kind of like tangled up, you can actually cut yourself. So I was actually fishing the Edmonds COHO Derby last year and cut my finger because I had my finger on the line a little bit too hard, and then a massive coho just smacked the bait. We got more harbor porpoises. Harbor porpoises are an awesome sign. They're a large apex predator, just like a coho, and they eat the same stuff that coho eat. So obviously avoid them, you know, you don't want to hit them or run them over with your lines or anything like that, but fishing in the same general vicinity is not a bad idea. Because when you're out here, the animals are way smarter than you. You know, they know where the food is. Oh, there we go. There's a fish. Yep, pop the clip. So pop the clip, that's a good sign. Okay, yeah, still on. Yeah. Oh, this feels like a decent one for the season at least. Kind of going behind the boat, might get the rudder. Time to start thinking about that net. Yeah. Sweet. All right, quick decision making. Do I want to keep? I'm keeping it. Yeah, I'm keeping it. All right, so not a monster by any means. It's actually kind of on the small side. I did kind of injure it though. So if you do injure a fish, the best thing you can do is just keep it. It kind of doesn't matter what size it is. I've kept fish that are like 15, 16 inches, even if you injure it to the extent that it's probably not going to survive. Just bonk it, right on your catch card. That's one of your catches for the day. I would prefer to release this fish, but because I kind of injured it, it's going in the boat. I don't want to release a fish that's going to end up dying. So this is kind of my way of dealing with that situation. So sometimes you'll catch something that you don't really want, but if it's injured and legal to keep, kind of the best thing you can do is just put it down and keep it. So this will make actually a pretty decent dinner for my wife and me. So excited about it, but yeah, a little bit of a small one for the first one of the day. But that's the whole process. That's how I catch them. Ooh, yeah, okay. We got birds, we got jumping fish, we got jumping herring. Oh, we got a fish on. But given the water and everything, I'm confident it's a coho. I'll check in the net. Oh. Sweet. All right. Little bigger fish than the last one. I think I am going to let it go though. I mean, the nice thing about porpoises is that there are fish here. So okay, I'm going to hold off. I always try to predict where they're going and then basically get out of their way before dropping down. They're going that way. I'm going to go this way. I have a little bit of time. I'm still making my way back to shore, but I have a little bit of time. Ooh, decent marks at like 75 feet. Oh, there's a fish. Pop the clip. Cool. And I'm focusing on bringing up the downrigger first. That's always what I do. I see people, even pretty serious kayak anglers, leave the downrigger down. I prefer not to do that, because basically one summer I had like three flasher boards get shorn off by my downrigger cable. Sweet. So this is kind of a more normal size, a little bigger size for the season. I'd call this one maybe 3 pounds. It's uninjured though. Oh man, okay. Uninjured, very energetic. I'm gonna go for one more. All right. A choice was made. Alright guys, just about back to the harbor. So hopefully that helped you a little bit this year. Pretty much like just the usual tricks are working. So 8-foot 3-inch downrigger rod, slow action, that's why you see the long bend in it. Got 25-pound braid on it. That braid actually cuts through the water really well. That goes to 25-pound mono. Mono's just there to basically help fight the fish and clip into. And then finally finishing with 25 to 30-pound fluorocarbon between the 11-inch flasher board and the hoochie. That's done with a Scotty Lake Troller, 4-pound downrigger ball. Let's see what else. About 2.5 miles an hour into the current, 3.5 to 4 miles an hour going with the current. And then basically between 45 and 75 feet down has been just fine today. What worked was basically finding life. So in this case, I was actually able to see things like seagulls and porpoises and that kind of thing hitting the surface. Pretty much, maintained a respectful distance from the porpoises and then trolled around them, and that's what got the fish in the boat today. Today was a reminder to use sharp hooks. So I was arrogant and just used the same hooks that I've been using for, I don't know, 8 months or something. They probably caught 20 fish at this point and are starting to get a little bit dull. So that's why I actually ended up missing a couple. I think I hooked 8 and landed 4. So 3 coho and then 1 small chinook today. So man, off to a stellar start for 2024. I am trying to get to 500 subscribers. Once I get to 500, I'll monetize and basically donate half the proceeds to an ocean conservation called Oceana. So please do like and subscribe below, especially if you enjoyed this content and you found it helpful. So thanks for watching.